Good morning. Today is Tuesday, the 4th of February 2025, and it's now 8 a.m. This is my first recording. My name is Michelle. I live in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia, and some might call it the God's country. I tend to agree. The reason why I'm making this vlog is I love to travel. My partner of over 31 years, we love to go to Asia. And the other thing is I'm a type 1 diabetic. I'm turning 58 in a couple of months, and I've had type 1 diabetes since the age of 21. I've always just done the basal bolus dosing, which is injecting with each meal a quick-acting insulin, and then a long-acting basal dose that covers for 24 hours. For those of you that don't know much about type 1 diabetes, when I was 21, I went to play in a netball carnival in Adelaide, South Australia, representing the town that I came from. And I was so thirsty, I was losing weight, had to ask to come off the court because I couldn't see what was going on at the end of the court. My vision was really blurry. And I started to, a couple of nights there, I would be up all night on the toilet weeing and drinking litres of water. At half time, I'd run off the court and just guzzle down a couple of litres of water. I was dry, really dry. It turned out that weekend I lost over 20 kilos, and on the bus trip home, which is about a 4.5 hour bus trip, I had the feeling that something wasn't right, naturally. The next day, I'm a registered nurse now. I was a student nurse at the time, working in the emergency department. And I was checking the resus room, and part of that was to check the blood glucose monitor. So I pricked my finger, and my suspicions was correct. My blood glucose level read high on the machine. And the local GP happened to look over my shoulder and notice the reading also. So I had some blood sent off, and they were processed quite urgently. I was still at work in my work uniform, when the GP kindly asked to see me quietly in another room, and he said, "Michelle, you're a diabetic." And I went, I'm not fat, I'm not overweight, never have been. I'm really active. I play sport every night. I train if I'm not playing, and a variety of sport. No family history, apart from a grandmother who had type 2 diabetes and was well into her 80s, close to 90. And he said, it's actually type 1 diabetes, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have injections for the rest of your life. I can remember him being quite a man of faith, and I can remember dropping the F-bomb and said, "Nah, I won't be doing that." And he said, the choices are you do that or you die. And so really, weighing up the scales, it was a fairly easy decision that I'm going to have to get on board and I'm going to have to deal with this. So someone advised me, "Michelle, it's not a death sentence. There's other diagnoses that could really be frightening and more terminal for you, and when you put it into perspective, the diagnosis of diabetes is something that you can live with, whereas terminal cancer, those sorts of diseases, there is an end date, usually earlier rather than later. Yes, there are complications associated with diabetes, your diabetic neuropathy, retinopathy, vascular issues, renal, and naturally, it's a bit of a change of your lifestyle. But someone did say, "Michelle, live with it and fit diabetes into your lifestyle, not your lifestyle around it." And that was probably the best advice that anyone ever gave me. So after all of this time with diabetes, only a couple of years ago, I invested with the National Diabetic Supply Scheme. Being a Type 1, you get support for purchasing the continuous glucose monitoring devices, and I did go with the Libra Freestyle 2. It took me a while to get on board with technology. Like I said, I am nearly 58 and I've always been the one to let everyone else do it all. My partner Barry, he does anything to do with technical stuff, you know, with the GoPro, with the computer, all of that sort of stuff. I really put my head in the sand, didn't want to know anything about it. However, I have progressed, and today I'm going to meet a long friend of mine who happens to be a diabetes educator and works with the endocrinologist that I've started to see. And I'm going with the Medtronic 780G insulin pump. So this is a big step for me, and it's funnily enough, my sugars are a bit elevated this morning because of the fact that I'm quite excited, also a bit nervous. It's going to be a change, but like anything, change is for the better. So I've bitten the bullet. And so today, with a bit of luck, if I can't film me getting started with the pump, I'll do a recording after and see what it brings us. About the travel side of things, we're also off to Las Vegas in a few weeks for the first round of the NRL. We do live in Newcastle, and of course we support the Newcastle Knights. However, they're not going to be playing in Las Vegas. So we're going to have the opportunity to be there for a week, watch the first round, watching who's playing. You've got Canberra Raiders playing the Warriors, and you've got the Great Penny Panthers playing the Sharks. Also, there's a game from the Super League, Wiggins versus Warrington, I believe. And also the Aussie girls are taking on the English girls. So it'll be 4 games in the day, plus we're having the opportunity, I'm really fortunate to be going to the Grand Canyon, and a few other things. So I was starting to believe that maybe I could take you on our travels and just to let you know the trials and tribulations of travelling with type 1 diabetes. And hopefully in the future, we do like to travel to Thailand each year, and we do ride a motorbike. I have a little 125 scooter, and the reason why we got our licenses so that when we go to Thailand, and about 4 months ago we travelled for a month through northern Vietnam, and then we did the Mae Hong Son Loop in Thailand, in the northern parts of Thailand. Such a beautiful country, beautiful people, beautiful scenery, and the food is second to none. So this is only just my first ever vlog. I'm hoping to work something out, and for those that are interested, you can hit the subscribe button, like it, comment. I will get back to all the comments, but be patient. This is not a very professional vlog at all to begin with. I'm just going off the top of my head and winging it at the moment, and hopefully I'll progress. I do like to learn. I also want to point out that whilst I'm a registered nurse, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, and I don't currently work as a diabetes educator, though I did many moons ago in another lifetime. But this is not endorsed by the health service that I work with. This is purely me as Michelle, not as a registered nurse, doing these vlogs. So please, if I give any tips or anything like that, please don't just take my advice. Check with your diabetes specialist or your diabetes nurse educator. Like anything diabetic related, it is a lot of trial and error. I don't profess to know all, but my years of experience, and just I think you just need good common sense, and being patient, hopefully I've learned a lot. And my father, who passed away many years ago, used to say, only a fool makes the same mistake twice. So I try and live by that, and not to make the same mistake twice. It's okay to make it once, and as long as we learn from it, that's the best thing. So I will touch base with you when I head off to go see, in about 20 minutes, my diabetes educator and endocrinologist, and see how fun it is getting started with the Medtronic 780G insulin pump. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye-bye.